What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and welcome to another video episode of All Hail the King. This is going to be episode 11, and I'm going to cover two different teams. Now, if you're not familiar with this setup, I originally mentioned these teams in the From the Helicarrier podcast. You can find this podcast and listen to it live on Tuesday on Twitch TV. Just do a quick search for the Helicarrier. However, if you can't catch it live, you can still find it on their website at www.thehelicarrier.com. I will also place a link to the corresponding podcast in the description below, so make sure you check that out. For our first team, we're using the Deathly Freeze Ray and the Signpost, along with Iceman the Horseman of Death in his Bruiser costume. Then I'm using Storm in her classic costume as a Tactician. Basically, this team is going to try to take advantage of Chilled. And also, as I mentioned in the podcast, Storm is pretty excellent with her Windy E-ISO. That's going to give her entire team Protective Shroud. Unfortunately, since I wasn't able to get it, and trust me, I really tried hard, I'm going for the next best thing, and that's the Quick Empowered ISO 8, which allows her to cast it as a quick action. The Signpost and Deathly Freeze Ray combo allows you to heal quite a bit of health back, and you'll see that in just one moment. Our agent starts at 33,000 HP, and then after using the Signpost, he'll go all the way back to full health. This dark bargain combination between these two items is pretty interesting. And then the Freeze Ray certainly helps to our overall theme of using Chilled. Next, I'm going to try to disorient the targets because Magneto and Cyclops have some very good single target attacks. I'd much rather see them hit their own teammates with those, rather than my team. Now with Storm's turn, we get to use the Protective Shroud as a quick action. That's not quite as good as starting the match with it, but I do have to say it does come in very handy. Next, I'm going to place Chilled on all the enemies at once with a Blizzard attack. This will hopefully not only set up Cold Snap, but also Death and Taxes. Death and Taxes says Iceman has a chance to attack when an enemy with Chilled attacks or is attacked. In my personal opinion, I think the proc rate is pretty low on this. It could definitely use a bump, but when it does go off, it is extremely beneficial. Now their Cyclops does put combat awareness on their entire team, so that's something we have to worry about. But we do get lucky and get a Protective Shroud evade already, and a counterattack from the Deathly Freeze Ray. It misses everyone except for Magneto, but now he does have Incapacitation, as well as Brittle Armor, and Chilled. The enemies are running a triple Tactician team, and they have Asgardian Tankard. So what I'm considering doing is using Freezes Over, that way we can place Exhausted on their agent. This will hopefully limit those extra turns, and it should make a pretty big difference in the battle. I do want to point out that Snowball's Chance does have a guaranteed crit against Chilled targets, and it has deadly crits. But we'll have to take a look at that one later. For now, we are going to use Freezes Over. Now he's going to get a combat awareness counterattack, but at least he does have Exhausted. And there goes his brawl, but we do evade it with the Protective Shroud. The proc rate on that is really fantastic, and that's why Storm is a pretty decent character to use. I actually ended up enjoying this team even more than I originally thought I would. This time on my agent's turn, with the Deathly Freeze Ray, we can try to put Incapacitation on all the enemies. We're going to take a few counterattacks, but we might as well trigger them now. At the very least, my agent has the Orfrost Mace, so I'd rather him take counterattacks over Storm. Now on Magneto's turn, I imagine he's going to use the Magnetic Field. This could be a slight problem. Oh, but never mind, instead Incapacitation makes him stunned for the turn. So now on Storm's turn, we're going to use Tornado, and this has Squall Line. This attack is catastrophic, and it exploits Chilled. It also has quite a few other benefits, but the enemy agent did hit us with a scroll, so we no longer have the Protective Shroud. Still, it manages to almost knock out the entire enemy team. Of course, they were wounded to begin with, but we will definitely take that, and we get another big and fast proc. This means a Signpost should pretty much finish them off. The only enemy that might live is Cyclops. Okay, so since he made it, I'm going to use the Light Fantastic, then I'll just let Iceman take this one home. After that, since this team did quite well and it was pretty fun to use, I'm going to try it one more time. and then we'll move on to our second and final team. On the Horseman of Death's turn, we do have a few abilities that we could try out, but I think I'm going with Freezes Over. This has Fatal Blow, so it's going to knock out Cyclops pretty easily. And that'll be it for our first match using this team. Now in our second battle, we're facing a Steve Rogers Captain America and a Horseman of Famine. The enemy agent does have an Empowered Blaster costume, so that means we're going to get an extra turn with Storm. But first, it's pretty crucial that we cast that quick action Protective Shroud. Next, since we can single target attack the agent, and we'll get tactical maneuvers, we get to start out with our level 1. By using Lightning, followed by Blizzard, whenever it's time for Tornado, we're going to have its full potential. The only thing that would concern me is if the agent lives and somehow uses a scroll, or the Blackest Void, so I'm going to try to focus on him and hopefully KO him before he gets a turn. Okay, so we got to use Lightning and now it's time for Blizzard. This should take Agent Deathstroke down to about 10k HP. And that's exactly what it does. So now, barring a miss from my agent, we shouldn't have a problem finishing him off before his first turn. Storm's Protective Shroud also kicks in right away on Rogue's counterattack. So far so good. Now on Steve Rogers' turn, we get another Protective Shroud proc, and on top of that, we do gain Big and Fast. I don't see any way their agent's going to live, so let's go ahead and use the Signpost, and then our first attack will be on him with an Orfrost Mace. We might as well go with the single target attack first, and then I'll probably use the Freeze Ray. Alright, so here goes nothing. But first, we are going to get preemptively hit with the Mahayuga. Even if we do manage to miss, we should be able to hit him with the next attack. But that doesn't even matter, we get him, and they get 2 offensive operations procs out of it. Luckily, we do dodge the first, but we get hit with a Brawl. Instead of risking further counterattacks, we're just going to go ahead and use the Blackest Void. With Iceman's upcoming turn, I'm going to show you what Snowball's Chance can do when it hits a chilled enemy. Granted, we do have a few other options, we're still going to use that level 1 with the Cold Snap and Deadly Crits. When we target Steve Rogers, it shows very little damage, but in actuality it's going to KO him. At this point it's 3-on-1 and it looks like we have another pretty convincing win in the books. We're getting 3 straight turns and Storm's going to be using that full potential Tornado. The only thing better would be a Sharknado. Maybe if they made Tiger Shark a lockbox character, and then you could team him up with Storm. Now that Famine is at 6k HP, she's going to do 2 counterattacks. Regardless, I don't see her living through another attack. Even Signpost is probably going to get her close to being KO'd. And to add insult to injury, we do get a reality hacking proc as well. So on my agent's turn, I'm going to use the Signpost, and that will take her down to 659 HP. A Deathly Freeze Ray will finish her off, and then we're going to try our second team. This one is about outlasting the enemy, durability, and annoyance. I'm using a triple Tactician setup, the Deathly Freeze Ray, Signpost, Asgardian Tankard, and then the Staff of Asclepios. Then on top of all that healing, we're using Rescue and Emma Frost. Emma has her character-specific Eternal E-ISO, and Rescue has the Quick and Sympathetic. So yeah, there's going to be damage reduction and a ton of healing. In large part, we're going to rely on Emma Frost, and specifically her Psychic Tap to get damage done. I'm going to start out by putting that Mental Anguish on their agent and hoping that they attack. Instead, she uses the Blackest Void, so that means it won't work this time. Now with Rescue, I'm just going to use her defensive abilities since she is disoriented. I want a save status reset, so we're just going to use Protector Protocol, so that counts as a quick action. And next I'll use her Reconstruction Matrix. Being disoriented is a minor setback, but this team removes a lot of debuffs. First we have Rescue, we have her passive, we have the Tankard, we have Cosmic Power, and then we have Unlock Potential. Okay, and Rescue just got stunned, but she took that heavy metal like a boss. On my agent's turn, I'll start out by using the Signpost, So we're going to heal him back to full. And next I'm going to use the Asgardian Tankard, which will give my entire team an extra turn. The Tankard in a triple Tactician team is pretty versatile, and there's a lot of really good Tacticians in this game. With my agent's extra turn, we'll use the Deathly Freeze Ray, and then we're hoping for that incapacitation to kick in. Rescue is unfortunately going to miss her extra turn because she was stunned, but at least this way she'll get a chance to act on her normal turn. Quicksilver's tag team doesn't do a whole lot because of Reconstruction Matrix. You can also really see that Eternal Empowered Iso Age shine on Emma Frost. Now with her turn, we're going to use Unlock Potential, and then I'm going to use Psychic Tap on Quicksilver. We know for a fact he's going to attack on his turn since that's all he can do, and it's going to trigger Mental Anguish. This, with Weak Mind, is going to take Quicksilver completely out of this battle. Oh, and also Rescue's really coming through right here because she single-handedly takes that Vortex Lariat. Now let's check out this damage for Mental Anguish. It does 42k, so Quicksilver's completely gone. Now I'm going to make a small mistake here and try to put Psychic Tap on their agent. I shouldn't have done this. She has mental scarring, but she's also immune to stun. Maybe I should have went with the mental trauma. Either way, she uses the Light Fantastic, so on Rescue's turn I'm going to use Status Reset, followed by Protector Protocol, and then I'm going to Flyby Attack their agent. I'm actually just going to double attack her and make sure she's finished before Magneto uses the Magnetic Field. He will most likely use that next, so we don't want her to get that as well. It does take 2 flyby attacks, but it's definitely worth it. Now it's going to be our entire team against Magneto, and we're at pretty high health. Not to mention I haven't even used our Staff of Asclepios yet. But first things first, we're going to use the Signpost, and then we will finally heal our team with the Staff. Not only does this free item do a huge heal, it places a heal over time effect. So yeah, as you can imagine, this team is extremely durable, but they will have some longer matches. I think as far as fun, I preferred the first team, but if you're on a losing streak, you may want to try something like this. I know I certainly will. As I finish this final opponent, I will be wrapping up the video. Emma, of course, can only do damage with War Diamond, and Magneto does end up skipping his extra turn. So now we're going to use 2 flyby attacks, as well as Protector Protocol, and then it's still probably going to come down to our agent to end this. I have gotten flyby attack to do a decent amount of damage before, but in this situation it's definitely not going to do a lot. For one, it's not going to critically hit, so that definitely hurts. But still, Rescue does take Magneto down to 13,755 HP. And as my agent finishes the battle, I just want to thank you all for watching. Make sure you tune into the From the Helicarrier podcast and check out the link in the description below. Also, please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck and take care.